Welcome back to our channel. In today's video we'll be rationalizing denominators. This is also known as rearranging fractions that have surds in their denominators. First of all, we are going to look at how to get rid of square root sign. Well, here we go, square root of a. To get rid of square root, all you need to do is square it. That becomes square root of a times square root of a, and that is just a. So now we can rationalize our first denominator. So example is 1 over square root of a. So all you need to do is to rearrange this fraction is times it by square root of a over square root of a. It is important that you times the numerator as well as denominator, as you cannot change the value of the fraction, so you have to times it by overall 1. Okay, and if you multiply it all out, it becomes square root of a over a. So our first example is going to be 1 over square root of 5, and I'm just gonna times that by square root of 5 over square root of 5. Okay, again it needs to be overall you times it by 1, so you don't change the value of the fraction, and once you times the numerator and denominator you'll get square root of 5 over 5. For exam techniques you would just get 1 mark for the correct answer. Our next rule is going to be 1 over a plus square root of b. Okay, so a little bit more complicated, and let's see what happens if you times it by square root of b. Okay, so the top will become just square root of b, and the bottom is going to be a square root of b plus square root of b squared, and that will simplify square root of b over a square root of b plus b. As you can see, we still have square root of b, so that method doesn't work. So what you need to do is use difference of two squares. So as you can see, there's two brackets with plus and minus, and that will give you square both numbers when you times those brackets. So we're gonna times our fraction, original fraction, by the same denominator as we had, but with a different sign, as you can see in our example. Okay, and the top will simplify as a minus square root of b, and the bottom is just a squared minus b. Our second example is going to be 1 over 1 plus square root of 3, so I'm just going to times it by the negative sign of the denominator, so it's going to be times by 1 minus square root of 3 over 1 minus square root of 3, and then the top will stay the same because we're timesing by 1, and the bottom will be the difference of two squares. Remember, once you get rid of square root you will simplify it, so you will get 1 minus square root of 3 over minus 2. I'm going to times it by minus 1 over 1 just to get rid of that negative minus 2 in denominator. Okay, for the exam techniques you will get 1 mark for the correct answer, and I'm just gonna highlight which part I would write as a normal working example. Okay, the next rule is the same as before, but now we're gonna have negative expression in denominator, so all you need to do is times it by 1, the fraction that has a positive sign, so it expands the same way. The third example we have is going to be 2 divided by 4 minus square root of 3, and we're going to times that by 4 plus square root of 3 over 4 plus square root of 3. As you can see, it's the same as our denominator but with a positive sign. So now numerator you will have to expand the brackets, and denominator just becomes a difference of two squares, and all you need to do is just make sure you simplify as much as you can. So our answer is 8 plus 2 root 3 over 13, and none of the numbers have common factors, so it cannot be simplified any further, and you will get 2 marks for exam techniques. Our next example, number 4, is 1 over 3 minus square root of 2 all squared. So first step you need to do is expand the bracket before you rationalize the denominator, and I'm gonna just use this rule on the right, as you can see. So I'm gonna expand the bracket, and I'm then going to simplify the denominator as much as I can until I get it into the form that we've been looking at previously. So as you can see, it becomes 1 over 11 minus 6 square root of 2, and now we can rationalize our denominator times it by 11 plus 6 root 2 over 11 plus 6 root 2, and then numerator stays the same as we times it by 1, and denominator is going to become 11 squared minus 6 square root of 2 squared. So the denominator needs to be simplified further. Our final answer is 11 plus 6 square root of 2 over 49. None of the numbers 11, 6 or 49 have anything in common, so we can't simplify it any further. For exam techniques, we will get 1 mark first for expanding the brackets correctly, and then the second mark you're going to get for timesing it on your step 2 rationalizing the denominator, and the final mark for correct answer. Our final example, and example number 5, is going to be 3 minus 2 root 5 over square root of 5 minus 1. Okay, so remember we are rationalizing denominator, so it's the denominator that we need to times it, and replace the sign by positive sign. So we're going to times the whole fraction by square root of 5 plus 1 over square root of 5 plus 1. And then the top of the fraction, I'm just going to write it as 2 brackets at this point, and then simplify denominator first, so it's going to become square root of 5 all squared minus 1, again the difference of 2 squares. And then for the next step, I'm going to simplify our denominator further, and I'm also going to expand the numerator, so you will have to expand times every element of first bracket by every element of the second bracket. If you're not sure how to expand the brackets, please watch our video on expanding brackets. Then I'm going to simplify our numerator, as there is lots of square roots and just normal numbers, and simplify it as much as I can. Okay, and also a final simplification for our denominator, so it becomes 4. And then, as you can see, we have 2 numbers that have square root of 5, so they can be combined together, and it becomes square root of 5. And then 2 numbers 3 and minus 10 can be combined together as well, so it becomes square root of 5 minus 7 over 4. For the exam techniques, you will first get a mark for identifying what you need to times the fraction by correctly, and then you will get 1 mark for expanding the brackets in the numerator, and a final mark for the correct answer. Thank you for watching. Give us a like if you enjoyed our video, subscribe, and comment below if you have any more questions.